Hi everyone, welcome to another video. I'm the Autistic Artist, and today we'll talk about family and Christmas and all the stress that comes with that and being autistic and how we can make this whole experience better for us this holiday. After staring at my laptop for like 5 seconds for no reason, let's start. So if my plan goes correct, then it's Monday and tomorrow is Christmas. For European people at least, we celebrate at the evening of the 24th, and the 25th is just like a day where you enjoy your presents and everything. Jesus. My flowers didn't agree with my rearrangement of them. If you're from America, as far as I understand it, you do get presents on the 24th, but the 25th is much more like Christmassy and where you get more presents and stuff. When I told people about my autism diagnosis, especially family, there were mixed results. Some people were stressing me out by asking me if I can still be a doctor or still have children and if I will find a husband or whatever. Things that I really wanted to do, they asked me if I can still do them, which at the beginning really stressed me because I didn't know what to say and if they were correct or not. Then second, there were people who just doubted my diagnosis, which were like, yes, but I also have this and that. Yes, that's also true. But do you have this and that? And yeah, I know. There's so many comments. Just say it like that. And when you're really stressed out and angry and whatever, my emotions were big with this one. Then there are people who just ignore you, who don't say anything about it, which is really kind. Yeah, thank you. People who don't know anything, there's so many reactions, but we all know the people who know it all and give comments that they just really should not, like, why? And I think I can separate us into two groups, the ones who are still in the care of their parents and their family, and the ones who are like moved out and on their own. And I moved out and I'm on my own. And one huge thing I can tell you is that this group needs to remember is they don't have power over you. You're not getting any money from them. You're not. Of course, there are exceptions to this rule, but in general, there's this group where the power that they have over you is minimal and maybe even less than you think it is. If we keep that in mind, then if everything, whatever they are saying to us, we can just answer the way we want. We don't have to watch out what we say in order to them still liking us or whatever. And if they don't make you feel and if people don't make you feel safe, if people are mean, if you don't feel comfortable around them, whatever, then why keep them in your life? And if there are family gatherings like that, where you meet them and they start acting out, they're starting to annoy you, then it's totally fine and it's super healthy to just say, no, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to have this conversation with you. You don't have to be mean and be like shut up. I stuff like that. You can just say, sorry, but I don't want to talk about it right now. And that's for people who are still with their parents. Saying it in a kind way like that should be accepted. I know there's horrible parents out there. There's parents who are kind and you love them, but they are still exhausting and there's still trouble. But saying it the kind way is something you are allowed to do, and it is something you should do. So in therapy, I learn a lot of stuff, and one of those things is what I just told you. One thing I also learned with time is why not explain it? That's a new rule I have, especially with starting to become a doctor and getting closer to actually being one, is my why don't explain it rule. You don't have to give information that you don't want to give, that is too personal. You can always give general examples. There may be a part where I needed to use the camera microphone because my cat turned off the recording of my microphone, and I hope it was at a time that I called it right away. That's her apologizing. So, why don't explain it? But why? Why do you think that you're autistic? My answer would be, I know that's something that's really interesting to you, but I'm so exhausted that day was a lot for me. It was really stressful with all the going there and I meeting you guys. I'm happy to be here, but it's a stressful day, and I'm unfortunately not able to talk about it. I'm starting to get a headache even. I just want to enjoy this here. I'm sorry. Maybe we can talk about it another day, but not today, please. If there are people who don't accept what you just said, then you are in the right to either repeat what you just said in a kind way or ignore them. To start talking with someone else. That's always a good advice I got from my therapist. Just start doing something else. And if they're not the horriblest people, they will realize that you are standing to what you just said. If they really demand it, then I would get more strict. Like I just said, I don't want to talk about it. Stuff like that. Just getting firmer. And if everyone acts like you really need to answer that, then there are two ways. Either you are adult enough, not independent enough to just say, sorry, I just said what I said, accept it. Or you can be like, don't you have days where you're just so exhausted, you just don't want to talk about it? This day was a lot for me. Please just accept that's not a day for me. Okay, is it so bad that you don't get the answer right away? I'll try it with stuff like that. Of course, it's easy to say from my point of view because the way I do it works for me. It doesn't necessarily work for you. But I'm digging into therapy experience I have, and I hope that this will be something that will help you too. And if not, just try to think of earlier. It's not Christmas today. Try to think of things that could work for your family, because saying no is something so important, and being able to say no must be possible in some way or another. And if you're not able to do that, then maybe you should think about what's the healthiest thing for you, or if you need help from someone outside. Seriously. So now, after all that introduction we just talked about, I thought we can talk about some of the things people tell us and how we can react, while also creating a bullshit bingo out of the stuff we just experience every day. Okay, let's start with the classic one. But you don't look autistic. How does autism look to you? Autism is a mental disability. It's in your brain. It's not something you can necessarily see. There are things going on inside of my brain and in my body that you can see from the outside. You are correct. There are things you can see from the outside. But I'm someone who tried to suppress that, because you know how people react to people that are different. And I didn't want them to act like that in front of me, or didn't want them to treat me different, so that's why I tried to suppress those. So that would be my answer, the easiest one I can give right now, and the nicest one. To be honest, if I'm really not in the mood or something like that, my way of treating it would be like grabbing this bullshit bingo, taking it out and being like, thank you, and checking the box. This is a list of things that we autistic people hear all the time that we really don't feel comfortable talking about, and that is something that's just things you shouldn't say to us. And this one is right here. What you just said is right here. That's like on the line of like checking the box and being like thank you, and telling them the nice thing. That's like kind of in the middle, I'd say. Number 2. I know blah 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 who's autistic, and you are nothing like them. Okay, another great one, another one of the main ones I think people get. Let's start with the nice one. Autism is a spectrum, which means it's different for every person, and there are people who suppress autism in a kind of way that you can see it from the outside, but it's still a huge problem from the inside, and so you can't necessarily see autism. But you can also just be like that, people are different, and so are autistic people. That's like a easier, shorter way to say it, I think. Depends on your family, of course. Okay, the next one. Why give yourself a label? I had a whole video about labels. So if you want to look that up, I'm probably too messed up to link it up there or in the video description. But it's like, I think 1 video ago or 2 now with counting this one. You can definitely find it. Sorry. Because help is often linked to a label, and with a word for something that you are struggling with can help you find others who feel the same way, and therefore also help you to better work with that. Another way is because I didn't like the word weird that much. Instead of thank you, you can also say that. Or like just say, if you are sick, you want to go to the doctor and know what you have. That's the same way I felt. We all are a little autistic. No, actually, we are not all a little autistic. Autism is a spectrum, so there are different ways autism can look like, but we aren't all a little autistic. Some things you see me do or you think are autistic can also be much worse for me from the inside than they are looking to you. So you might think like people who think they have OCD because they like want to have a clean house and think that because that's stressful to them, that's the same as OCD, but that's just you don't really know how mental struggles and disabilities really look like from the inside, because for knowing how it feels for me, you needed to jump inside of me or like really needed to like research the topic and get an expert in it. And that's not possible for you, of course. So it might seem we are struggling with the same things and all are a little autistic, but it's not true. You can also be like, no, that's actually not true. There is research backing this up. You seem so normal. It's kind of the same as, but you don't look autistic. But it's a different way of wording it. And I thought we can add it to the bullshit bingo. You can, of course, say, yeah, it just looks like that. You can also be like, normal, maybe you don't know me really well. You can also say, did you cry when you got a new winter coat? The next thing, but you have the light autism, right? Oh my god, I heard that one so much. It's one of my arch enemies. Autism is a spectrum, so autism can look very different in different people. But that it's a spectrum doesn't mean it's like light autism and really bad autism. It's actually more like specific like traits you can have as an autistic person can be looking a little less obvious or a different way. Autism is like a disability of extremes, I'd say. So you can either not look people in the eye or like have super focused eye contact. So you see autism can look really, really different, and my struggles are more with things you can't really see from the outside. Oh, I wish I'd have autism light, but they unfortunately haven't developed that game yet. It's just autism. Are you sure? I don't know if you had the experience of actually getting that one, but I have, and I was a little like, I don't know if you can say perplexed in English too, stunned. I was stunned. Yes, I'm very sure, and my therapist is too. I got an official diagnosis by a very trained expert, so yes. And one that I got in the comments was, you need a better mindset. I don't know how much time you spend in therapy, but trust me, I have trained my mindset a lot. You should be glad you're not actually disabled. I don't know if you're in a committee talking about who's disabled or not, but the last time I looked at it, autism is a disability. In my country, for example, you get a disability pass that determines how disabled you are. And if you get a like official card, then you have 50% or more of percent being disabled. So in my country, you can actually say autism counts as a disability where you get a disability pass. And you know how hard this is to get in Austria. So I got one. Now imagine how hard my life is when I get that pass. For me also, you see my like autism service dog. I didn't get that one that easy. Trust me. If you like it, that one is connected to Are You Sure and the labels kind of thing, as if it's someone. Something we can like just take and add to ourselves. Autism is something the vast majority doesn't really understand right now, and it's hard to describe it because it's stuff going on in the inside, but I talk to specialists and doctors and I have help from my therapist, and it's not that I like it and I really wanted to be autistic, but it's something I have to deal with in my life, and I'm trying that the best way I can. And yes, I am in a way proud of being autistic because I'm proud of the way I are and the things I achieved. Well, it's not like I went to the candy shop and said, I want a little bit of autism, thank you. It's just something I need to deal with. The next one is, I also have the thing you talked about. Most of the times this comes from people who aren't actually autistic or aren't actually struggling, and it's often combined with, but I also do this and that still. It might seem like we have the same thing. That's the problem with mental disabilities. You kind of don't see them from the outside, so it may look like we have the same struggle, but it's actually much harder for me. Last night I cried because I got a new winter coat. Was that something you struggled with too? Then I might get a diagnosis. If not, you probably don't know. I fell asleep and slept for 11 hours through, and trust me, I talked to my doctor. It's not something I wanted to do. It's just something my body needed because it was so exhausted. That doesn't seem too easy to do this and that then. And you have the same problem. When do you do that? When do you take the time? So my doctor actually told me I need to step down and do less things. But you probably know it better than my doctor, do you? Yeah, but just Asperger's. Asperger's is a diagnosis that isn't really used anymore. In the new criteria, it's called autism spectrum disorder. I know some doctors still use it. Those are unfortunately the ones who aren't on top of the latest statistic. The reason we don't use Asperger's or Kenner autism or stuff like that anymore is because it's not that easy to decide between the two. You can't add people to groups. It's a spectrum. And there may be things that look just Asperger's in me. Also trust me, it's not just. And there are things that look like in early childhood autism or things like that. There's not everything Asperger's in me. Yeah, it may look like that because there are more people you hear about that are diagnosed, but the diagnostic criteria just got better. And we now see this disability diagnosed in more people just because they struggled in silence until now. It's not like they didn't struggle, right? They had huge problems and they were cast out, and they died earlier because of struggles. They had serious mental problems, problems with alcohol, whatever, and that just because we didn't diagnose them correctly and they didn't get the help they needed. No, not everyone has autism. We just diagnose it correctly now. Something you hopefully haven't heard, but I have, is no, you don't. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Where did you study this? And you're an expert in this because... Oh, okay, it seems to you like I don't have it. Can you explain to me why? Because I have a lot of doctors who all agree that that's the case. This and that can also mean social anxiety. It can also mean, certain parts and symptoms of my disability can also be symptoms of other disabilities. That's correct. But sum it all up and it's autism. You just have to confront yourself with certain situations. Actually, confronting myself with situations was the way I got along before the diagnosis, and it was really hard. Now I know that that's the wrong way to go about it. Confronting is something my doctors didn't advise me to do. Do you think you know it better than my doctors, and why? Another thing people with all disabilities and diseases get is some random expert in their family being like, have you tried? My doctor is someone who studied about this and made research and reads about all the research out there, and he really is an expert, and he didn't advise me to do that, and I go with what my doctor tells me. And when I want to add highlight, which is not just have you tried, but worse, where people suggest harmful procedure or products, because some people do that, like drinking bleach. This is something that's actually really dangerous and not helping at all. Please don't suggest that to anyone. Autism is a disorder with neurons, and the bleach, when I'm drinking bleach, it actually just goes into my stomach and hurts my stomach. It may lead to problems that I need to have surgery for. It doesn't help at all, and the neurons don't even get in contact with the bleach. If they would just die. Okay, so my camera died. Of course, I already changed it and wrote everything, so I now have to look for what happened again. Have you tried so and so? What's blah blah through blah blah blah? Some people think we are math genies. Unfortunately, while autism comes with some synesthesia, for example, where you have colors and numbers combined, or smells and music or whatever, not every autistic person is a math genie. Most aren't, unfortunately. Then I thought, let's add a joker in the middle to make it a little easier. Can you still marry someone? Or can you still be a doctor? Can you still do this and that, stuff that is asked in a mean way or in a scared way? You can say, of course I can do this and that, or be like, unfortunately this is more difficult for me, but I found the help I needed, so I can do this and that. I'll pray for you. Not a nice one. Some people mean it in a nice way, but I think it's important to say that most people actually are proud of being autistic because it's the way they are, and while they have it harder and call it a disability, they don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It's just harder for us in this world because it wasn't built for us. Someone that acts like you are dangerous, and I need to add a space. Being autistic doesn't make me dangerous. Being autistic means that I don't understand certain things, but if you tell me what you mean, I'm fine. Trust me, I'm not here to hurt anyone. Some people act like Some people act like Jesus. Some people act like you're a child or incapable of something. My autism makes things harder for me. I tell people when I think something is hard, you don't have to assume it's hard for me. While my camera died, I finished it and then mixed some stuff up. And I'm not sure if I missed something now. If so, I'm sorry. The last thing I can think of now is the like people who are like, they don't believe you, and it's really annoying. It's like itching. The only thing I can think of is like either ignoring it, or being like, exactly. I think I covered everything else. Sorry if I missed something. Okay. So I will just edit now. And you guys come up with a great answer in the comments, okay? I'm sorry. That's it for today. I wish you a lot of fun with the bullshit bingo at your family gatherings. I'm sending big hugs to everything who has a stressful one. I'm here for you. We all feel for you, and add your bullshit in the comments and we can talk about it. We can laugh about it. We can send you big digital hugs and everything. Yeah. Huge hug, and we will see each other in the next one.